Hey there. Welcome back to Purpose Over Paycheck, this midlife reinvention movement for women 50 plus, rising in faith, walking in freedom, living in flow, and flourishing in every God designed season. This is the place where we shift beliefs, elevate purpose, and make space for the next chapter to unfold without force. I am excited that we are in this series when the old way stops working. For women who haven't fallen apart, but know that something has quietly shifted. Please forgive my voice. I'm a little tired, a little jet lagged. I'm back in the States for a little bit before I continue my international escapades and journeying around. So, still a little jet lagged, catching up on rest, the time adjustment, everything has been quite interesting. But I wanted to make sure that I got this next episode out, episode 2, when you're still capable, but no longer willing. Oh, this is going to be a good one. When you're still capable, but no longer willing. There comes a moment in midlife that feels confusing at first. It was for me. You look at your life, your work, your responsibilities, your opportunities, and you realize something very simple, profound, and very unsettling all at the same time. All things are true at the same time. You can still do it. You just don't want to anymore. You just don't want to. You don't even have the capacity, don't want to find the capacity, don't want to create the capacity. You still have the skills, you still have the experience, you still have the reputation. You still know how to perform, produce, and deliver. But the internal yes, it's gone. The internal yes is like, nah, mm-mm. And that can feel frightening and unsettling because for most of your life, your willingness has been one of your greatest strengths, one that you have relied on. You were the one who stepped up, the one who figured it out, the one who carried the load, the one who said yes when others hesitated and didn't even show up. Your willingness was not just a trait, it was part of your identity, your DNA, your fabric. So when that willingness begins to withdraw, it can feel like you're losing something essential, a critical part of yourself. But what if you're not losing anything at all? Had you considered that? Let's consider that together. What if what you're experiencing is not a loss of willingness, but a refinement of consent? Ooh, how about that? A refinement of consent. There is a big difference between being capable and being willing. Capability lives in your skills, willingness lives in your shanana. It lives in your spirit, it lives in your soul. Capability says, I can do this. Willingness, on the other hand, asks, but should I? For many years, you may not have had the luxury and the privilege, quite honestly, of asking that second question. You did what was required, you did what was necessary, you did what kept the lights on, The family stable, the career moving, the responsibilities covered, completely understood. And in many cases, that meant overriding your internal signals. You said yes when you were tired. You said yes when it cost you peace. You said yes when it meant shrinking parts of yourself. And again, none of that was wrong. Let me repeat, none of those yeses were wrong. It was survival, it was duty, it was devotion. But the beauty and the blessing of midlife is that it often introduces a different kind of intelligence. We are in an era of artificial intelligence, but what the privilege that we have in midlife is a different kind of intelligence, not artificial. It's very real and not abstract. It's very tangible, right? Not intelligence of the mind, not intelligence of the spirit. And this intelligence, this midlife intelligence, this space where we're in begins to ask, what actually belongs to me now? What still fits who I've become? What am I no longer willing to carry? For some of us, this season didn't unfold the way we once imagined. I'm raising both hands. That's me. For the career change, the structure shifted, the relationship we thought would carry us into this chapter didn't. Me personally, I'm walking through midlife as a divorced woman, single, and the life I'm living now is not, I repeat, is not the one I once pictured for this season. It isn't. And yet here I am, still growing, still becoming, still learning how to live with honesty instead of expectation. So if your life doesn't look like the way you thought it would by now, you're not alone in that. This is where many of us misinterpret what's happening. They say, for example, I don't have the energy anymore. I'm losing my drive. I just don't care the way I used to. But the truth may be much quieter and much wiser and a different kind of intelligence. You still care. You just no longer care about things that cost you yourself. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. You still care. You do. You just no longer care about the things that are going to cost you yourself. Your willingness is not disappearing. Let me encourage you. Your willingness is not disappearing. It is becoming more honest. An honest willingness is not loud, it is selective, it is discerning. Hey, Luna Love. It is um, it is deeply rooted in self-respect. Midlife begins to shift the central question of your life. In earlier seasons, the questions were, what can I handle? What can I achieve? What can I prove? What can I survive? But now in this season, the question becomes, what actually aligns with the life I want to live now? What feels honest? What feels whole? And sometimes the answer is, I could do that, but I don't want to. You see how my body shifted with that? I could do that, but I don't want to. The sentence is not laziness, it is not failure, it is not weakness, it is, in fact, wisdom, earned wisdom, lived experience. It is the beginning of a life shaped by, here's that word again, consent, not just capacity. When your willingness begins to withdraw, it is often protecting something sacred, your peace, your time, your health, your spirit, your truth. You're not your no in this season of life and beyond this season is not a rejection of life. It is a reorientation toward it. And this is where a new kind of courage is required, because saying yes to everything is often easier. I will fully admit and accept and acknowledge that yes feels and seems easy on the surface, right? But we're not surface living anymore. I know it keeps the peace, it keeps the image, it keeps the expectation intact. But midlife courage, honey, looks different. It feels different. Midlife courage says, I will not agree to a life that cost me my wholeness. I will not agree to a life that costs me my wholeness. Where have you noticed your willingness to quietly withdraw? That is the question. Not dramatically, not with a big announcement, but in small, subtle ways. That quiet shift may be the beginning, of your next chapter. Answer in the comments. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, share this content with someone else that you know could benefit. Subscribe, turn on that notifications button, and in the comments just mention, where have you noticed your willingness to quietly withdraw? And you know what I like to do before I in each episode is to leave you with a blessing. May you trust that obedience sounds like a quiet, honest no. May you release the belief that your worth is proven by how much you're willing to carry. May your yes return only where truth lives, and may consent, not just capacity, shape the life you build from here. Mm. I promise you, midlife is not a crisis. It's an invitation to reinvention. We're still here, we're still rising, and we're learning how to live what comes next with honesty and wholeness, faith, freedom, flow, flourishing. This, oh, is so sweet. This is 50 Reinvented. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.